Hey, chill. Jeremy, how you doing? Chip. Pete, welcome aboard. Mark, how you doing? I'm assuming, Mark, that you're on your off days at the moment. Yeah, the heat's been pretty oppressive. Done a little bit of a rejig on my desk, moved things around a little bit, and I've put one of these small little pipe racks that I've got. I've screwed it to the wall, so it just gives me a few more pipes to hand. It's only a small little rack, so it only takes my smaller pipes. So I've currently now got that one. I've got two racks up there, that one and the 14 pipe one, and I've got the one on the wall there. So there's quite a few racks on the go these days. I tried to whittle it down to just a couple of racks, but you know how it goes. Hey, Mad Piper, Tom, isn't it? Konnichiwa. Cliff, how you doing? Chad, welcome aboard. Hope you're well. So I've got to select something to smoke for this evening. It has been a very, very hot day today, and got to smoke something lightweight. I guess it's going to have to be Ollie Golden sliced, I reckon. I'm doing all right, besides for sweating buckets. Doing okay. Well, to be honest, I haven't really sweated buckets today. I kept indoors. I kept the blinds closed so the sun didn't sort of beat down on the main living room downstairs. So although it was hot and muggy at times, it wasn't too oppressive. And there has been a fair breeze, which made life a little bit easier. Evening, Patrick, how are you doing? So, pipe-wise, I'm still at this stage with this pipe. This one still needs rusticating. I did not get a chance on Friday. So, hey Lee, how you doing? 68 Fahrenheit, so you're okay. Today, I reckon it's been in the 90s here. It's interesting because it was focused on London. Usually we're sort of, if the whole of the south of England gets good weather, then we'll get it too, but apparently the heat was really concentrated here in London more than anywhere else. Don't ask me why. I imagine the south coast must have been chock-a-block today, and I'm sure will be tomorrow too. You had thunderstorms. We didn't get those. We were lucky. We might still get them, I guess. So this tobacco jar has made a reappearance. If you guys remember, in my old desk setup, that used to be on my desk, but it got relegated to the cupboard for a while. And what I've done is I've actually removed one of the screens. I used to have 2 screens on my desk. I've got rid of one of them. Although I like the idea of having 2 screens, but I didn't actually find a lot of the time that I needed the second screen. And I have an old tablet which I can use if I really need to. So I decided to bring this one back out. I've got a few just bits and bobs in there. I don't keep tobacco in it. I'm trying to decide whether to break in a new pipe tonight. I've got several pipes which I need to sort of have a first smoke in. I also have a spare Crown Series pipe, which for one reason or another ended up staying with me, and I'm thinking whether or not to sell it or to keep it for myself. Yeah, it's really been nice to see the response generally to Pipe Week. I didn't get as many in my feed as I thought I would, so what I'm doing is looking at messages and seeing who else is kind of getting in on the chat and stuff like that. But I haven't seen the amount of American ones that I expected to see, to be honest. Lurkers get to vote. You can email in. You can email in your votes. You don't have to do a VR. I just put a plug on my air conditioner. I haven't had that air conditioner on for probably about a year, and I must have taken the plug off for some reason. I don't remember why. Obviously needed a plug and I didn't have a spare one, so I just put the plug on it, and I'm pleased to say it's working and the temperature is going down finally. Yeah, so we'll get some Audit Golden Slice going, I think. Although, just thinking if I should go for a cigar ad. Yeah, if you go to Flat Cap Piper's YouTube channel, then just watch his video, a couple of videos back. It'll give you the instructions. You can email in your votes, no problem. You can take part. So I had an Oliva Connecticut. I had it yesterday and Thursday, and it was really, really, really delicious. And I think it was either Chillax or somebody else. It might have been Kenjiro, whatever his name is. He might have put the comment on there, and he's absolutely right that with Connecticut wrapped cigars, so basically the lighter cigars, you really have to go easy on your cadence, and then you get rewarded with just beautiful flavors. You overdo it and you just get hot air. With a Maduro or that kind of thing, you know, you've got lots of flavors in there which you can chug away. It's a little bit, it gives you a little bit more leeway. It must have been Kenjiro. So you get a little bit of leeway, but with Connecticut cigars, and for me, I think to a large extent, I found this with Davidoff cigars, because a lot of the white labeled ones were sort of Connecticut style, lighter colored wrappers, and the blends were lighter. And with that, you just do find that those turn quite easily if you chug too heavily on those. Each time I look at this cigar, I keep thinking it's a Cuban. This is a Monte Cristo, but it's a non-Cuban. But the label is such a copy. It's such an accurate sort of rendition. It looks just like the Cuban one. My problem is that I've got so many cigars in here which I want to do videos on, and so I look at a cigar and I want to smoke it. I want to smoke this Romeo and Juliet cabinet selection. I've got some Monte Cristo White series which I smoked right in the beginning when I first started smoking cigars, maybe 7 years ago, and I wanted to try it again and see what it was like. But I want to do a video, so I can't do it while I'm doing a live. Oliva Serie V. That's a big old cigar. That will actually last in the video, in the live. Let's see what else I can do without feeling the need to do. See, the problem with a lot of these is that they're also quite strong, some of them. So I don't really. Maduro Reserve Romeo and Juliet. How you doing, knife maker? You just figured out how to IG. Good for you, congrats. 20th anniversary. Smoked a lot of these. Oh, this one's slightly different. The label looks very sparkly. This looks different, this. Maybe it was the 10th anniversary that I had previously. Yeah, so that's the Monte Cristo White series. I've been wanting to try those again. It's been a long time since I've had one of those, but I want to do it on video. I mean, I could just go with a Quorum. I actually fancy something a little bit lighter. The Quorum's actually really good, as it happens. I'm sure I've got another Oliva Connecticut somewhere. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but look at this one, Romeo and Juliet, Star Crossed. I haven't seen that before. Star Quarto. Oh, I can go for a Hemingway short story. How about that? So this bag is the bag I got from Adam at Pipe Wandering when he came to London. We met at JJ Fox's, and there were either 4 or 5 cigars in this bag. 2 left. Let's do that. because I've smoked the short stories before. There's probably a video on my channel, so I would imagine. So I don't need to redo that, although it would have been a good number of years ago. I'm itching to do a video on this one. Who sent me this? I think this was Andrew Sirigliano. Look at this one, Liga Privada. H99. I've not had this one before. Because of this tapador and the expensive Cubans, I'm hardly ever going down to my humidor downstairs because I have no room in here for the humidor anymore. I'm not smoking Cubans that often. So this is actually quite a short smoke. This is a Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva, and this is a Hemingway short story, I think. Yeah, Hemingway short story. And there was a time when these were in short supply. And Archie at Boswell's Pipes used to look after me. I remember one time he got delivery of the short stories but with a black wrapper. I don't remember the full name of it, but he put some aside for me and sent them to me, and they were really, really tasty. The short stories, they're very interesting. They have this sort of semi-closed foot. It tapers right down, but the foot is still a little bit open, so you can just light it with a soft flame, no problem. And it lights very easily. But we do need to take the cap off, don't we? I don't use this so much anymore. I used to have this out in the garage, but still my favourite cutter. Hey John, the Ramses as of yet is not sold. I've had a few inquiries which I've responded to tonight because I've been out of incommunicado over Saturday. And when you first do a pre-light draw, it's actually very, very tight. But the reason for that is because it's almost closed at the foot. So you have to remember that before you start chopping away at the top to try and open up the draw. So this lights very easily with a soft flame because it's just a small little foot that you need to light. At this stage it's extremely tight, but hopefully once we get past a little bit of that foot, it should open up nicely. Hardcastle 155 XL with Newminster rolls. Hardcastle pipes used to be made by Colin From. Some really good looking pipes, some of them. I've actually been looking out for one for a long time on eBay. I haven't yet found one that I like the look of, because when I go back through old magazines and catalogues and stuff like that, you see the Hardcastle pipes. They always look amazing. I think it's Hardcastle I'm talking about. It's not a vintage, okay. Oh, actually, this thing here, this little thing, I don't know what it's supposed to go on to. It says on it Grobet USA. I'm assuming it goes onto some kind of machinery, but this is something which was sent to me by, and I want to give him huge credit for this. And this was sent to me by Mike at Briar Blues, and I use this for brushing pipes and things like that when you're trying to, especially with rusticated pipes, when you're trying to clean off compound and things like that. You need a bit of a stiff bristle brush, but which isn't going to ruin the pipe. And this comes into use so many times. Another thing which I want to credit him with, is he sent me this a long time ago. This is a wheel which was designed by Jeff Graysick of J. Allen Pipes, and it's a French wheel, and I use this sometimes when I need to get into difficult places and difficult angles on pipes. And I used that on the Ramses actually, and that was typical of Mike when he's supporting a new pipe maker. At the time, going back a few years now, he was very supportive, full of advice, but more than anything he sent me things like this. He sent me also a measuring gauge, because oftentimes when I'm designing a pipe, I design it in thirds. I split the pipe into thirds when I'm designing it, and so he sent me a device which was designed for splitting an item up into threes in terms of the way you measure it. I don't really use it, to be honest, but it's just an indication of the type of things that Mike did to support a new pipe maker. So although I don't hear from Mike very much these days, it's because he obviously feels that he can leave me to get on with what I'm doing. But all the work that he did at the beginning to support me, I benefit from every single day. So I'm very grateful for that. And I suppose it's easy to forget this when you're a few years down the road and you've got some experience. But it's something which a person has to recognize and acknowledge further down the line, because as far as you get down the line, it's only because of the people that helped you in the beginning. So shout out to Mike. Canadian Silver Fox indeed. Hey Robert, how you doing? Steve and Kathy. Good to hear that, Mark. It's starting to open up now. Interesting kind of vitola. It tapers from that end and gets wider towards the bottom of the cigar. It reminds me a little bit of the Andalusian Bull. Do you guys remember that cigar? Which was kind of a bit of a wedge shape, but obviously much bigger than this, probably 4 times bigger than this, but also narrow at the top and quite wide at the bottom. The Andalusian Bull was a cigar which I had a few times, but I never really was a big fan. Such a big cigar. I found that large parts of that cigar were just too bland. It's the kind of cigar which it warrants sort of revisiting once in a while. I guess I should at some point. I have seen them on sale here in the UK actually. I don't remember what the wrapper was, Mark. I have done a video on my channel a while back, and it was too long in the tooth for me. That's really the honest truth. It took such a long time to smoke it. It was like a 3 hour smoke, something like that, and it just didn't do it for me. You know, I think if I remember correctly, the first minute or 2 or 5 minutes sort of was very, very impressive, and then it kind of sort of went downhill from there. Pipe 744, that's a Crown Series pipe, which for one reason or another I've been left with, and I just need to decide whether I'm going to sell this or whether I'm going to keep it. Kind of tempted to keep it. It'd be nice to just have one myself. I don't have a Crown Series pipe, so I might just keep this one. I might well do that, Mark. I didn't keep one from the first series, which is a bit silly. I should really keep one from each series, but I didn't. So maybe I should keep it. Hey, Daniel. The burn is a bit weird, but maybe that's because of the way the foot is. Maybe that will level itself up in a minute. Flavor wise, it's quite nice. The draw is not quite perfect, but it's getting there. Hey, Bull Moose. There's a bit of stain on the inside, but other than that, it's fine. Sterling silver band. I haven't modified the Stanwell yet, no, Daniel. Alright, Cliff, have a good one. Yeah, the Stanwell, I'll get around to it. I just haven't got around to it yet. Yeah, I mean, the rustication is what I call a carved blast, so it's not a natural blast. It's a rustication, but I've kind of tried to do it as close as possible to so it looks like a sandblast. And hopefully in the not too distant future I will have the sandblast thing set up and running. It's time I got down to it, let's be honest. That is all over the place. I'm just looking at a comment on one of my other videos, and somebody's asking that they saw a video, I think it was from Sarge, who said that they were going to auction off John Harden's pipes, matches. And he's asking, does anybody know if they were auctioned off or if they're still going to be? Anybody know, so that I can respond? I've not heard anything further about it. It was on Sarge's channel. What's his channel called? I can't remember. Is it? His name is Vinny something or other, but I can't remember the name of his channel. Not yet, Chad. Okay. Sergeant Savinetti, thank you, Chillax. Yep. Well, it's nice to have a reminder of matches. Hopefully he's at peace. I had the distinct impression that he wasn't towards the end of his life. So hopefully he is at peace. Garbage Man Piper, he does comment on IG. He's still active on IG a little bit here and there. Every so often he'll put a comment in, but he says he's very, very busy, and he's just not making videos at the moment. Yeah, Patrick, that's what I heard as well, but haven't heard anything since. Yeah, I don't know, Bull Moose. You know, it's we can't know what's going on in people's minds and people's private lives. I'm just making a comment based on videos that I saw around that time, which were then taken down very quickly, and whatever it might have been, you know, he was obviously not happy, and things weren't straightforward. And as I say, hopefully now he's at peace, and yeah, you know, we all owe him a big debt of gratitude. He was such a big part of the YTPC. You know, his stories, just watching him smoke a pipe, for me it was that sideways view with the pipe barely on his lips and just puffing away, talking, relaxed, happy with the world, you know, at peace. He seemed to be, but you never know the turmoil that goes on with people in private. Yeah, I agree with you, Bull Moose. I looked forward to his videos, especially on Fridays. I think for a while he changed it to a different day, but Fridays was something I looked forward to every Friday. And right towards the end, he did a few lives, just when lives were coming into fashion. And I was lucky enough to be on one of his lives, together with Eddie from the Pipe Nook. The three of us were on for a chat, which was nice. He used to do chats on Friday nights always. Hey Phil. And by the way, guys, if you want to see a really, really, really cool pipe, check out Phil's last video. Very cool, and it really epitomizes Phil Rivara pipes. Something out of the ordinary, spectacular metalwork, and just really epitomizes Phil. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Phil, but check out his channel. So that's a take on a pocket pipe. There used to be a guy, Claude, a French guy, who used to be, I think he was Canadian, if I'm not mistaken, and he used to come on the Saturday Night Lives, and a few times he asked me if I make a pocket pipe, and I've never tried, and I'm not sure that I ever will. But they were quite a common thing. I mean, pretty much most, certainly the English and French brands, if the ones that had, you know, the catalogues going back maybe 30-40 years ago, and they had, you know, the standard shapes, a whole catalogue of standard shapes which they kept churning out, there was always a pocket pipe in the range somewhere. You could always buy a pocket pipe, and but you don't see them anymore. So it's really, really nice to see a modern version, a modern take of a pocket pipe, especially with those additional features like that only Phil can do. There's very, very few original guys making videos, Daniel, if any at all. In fact, Phil is probably one of the guys who's been on the longest, come to think of it. I'm about Chad, I think I'm about 7 years in, something like that. I think it was towards the end of 2015, so about 7.5 years. In those days, the people I was watching was Phil. I think Phil had started by then making videos. I don't know if you made videos very often, Phil, in those days. Obviously the Dagners, Stogie Farts, and what's his name? He was called Dunhill Man UK, but he called himself something else later on. Chris. Anyway, he always had Dunhills, which looked brand new every time he smoked them. He was a guy who's he had, I think, some issues, some brain issues. He was unhealthy, so he felt that the pipes, he called them his babies. His pipes basically kept him going, and so he was always entertaining. Often did videos in his Morris Minor, which was really cool. But he's still around. He still posts on Facebook sometimes. And there was, of course, Joe Case. You know, even though he was a pipe maker, but he was a regular contributor to the YTPC. Did videos on a regular basis. Always liked watching him. Who else? Metalmorphist. I think, Phil, you probably know him. He was I think he was a Marine, possibly. Very army related. Metalmorphist, is that right, Phil? And even, what's his name, the Polish piper, he's come back now, and every so often he'll do a video and he says, oh, I'm here again, and each time he says, I'm getting back into it and I'm going to do regular videos. Then you don't see him again for 6 months. Then he comes back on and apologizes, yeah, but this time I'm really back. He's a funny guy. He used to do the most hilarious videos on the YTPC. The Polish piper, check him out. Drinks a lot of beer, a lot of artisanal beers. Who else? Who else was there, Phil, in those days? I guess I can look at my subscription list and see. So who have we got here? Professor Jeremiah. He doesn't do videos very much these days. Pipe on the patio, Johnny. Three Rivers Piper. Now, Three Rivers Piper, he used to do a lot more videos. But if you want to check out a very cool video or two, he's got videos of Ian Walker, Northern Briars, carving pipes on his longboat. That's really interesting. So it's worth checking out for that. But it's a good channel to subscribe to anyway. AD's pipes, he came back for a short while, maybe a year or so ago, but he seems to have disappeared again. Aficionado HQ is an Australian guy. He used to be a regular contributor, but not anymore. He's on, I'm not sure if he's on Zooms or not. Alex George, another Australian, used to be a regular contributor, very funny guy. He actually went to Boontar, yeah. Alex George, he actually went to America and stayed with the Dagners for a while. That was very cool. Okay, Balkovec pipes. That was Mark Balkovec. He made stunning pipes, but he's gone out of the business completely now. He doesn't make pipes anymore, but really, really nice pipes. It's where I saw flame sort of carvings on pipes done very, very well. Beans 316. I mean, amazing. He's really been, actually, he's one of the old guys. Yeah, look at it. He is one of the old guys for sure. Beard Meets Food. Check out that channel. He's an English guy and he eats a lot of food. He's fun. Here's Boontar. Bremen Pipe Smoker, he's been there all the time. He still makes videos. Not as often as he used to, but he still makes them. Briar Hokey, he was on for a while, a few years back, but he wasn't one of the originals, he was later on. Briarville Rick. So he used to work in the same, that was Rick, I can't remember his surname now. He used to work in the same workshop as Joe Case. Basically, Joe Case gave him space in his workshop, and they then separated. And we did see Rick showing off his new workshop, but then I think he sold out, and somebody else runs it nowadays, I think. Burlyman 40, I think he's an original guy, but I don't see much of him either. I mean, there's actually several generations that we've seen, I've certainly seen, since I started on YouTube. There's been probably 3 generations of different sort of new waves of people on YouTube. So Cass Piper, Cherry on Top, these guys were kind of like the middle stage. They were a new generation, but they came after me. So I would say I was maybe even 4 generations. I was probably either the 2nd or the 3rd generation, and I think I came in at the tail end. I mean, the YTPC's been going for like 10-12 years, but I think for a few years that first generation endured for longer than it endures now, each generation. Briar Blues, he hasn't been on that long. I mean, he's a very popular channel, but he hasn't been on as long as these guys. So Cliff Higgins, Cobbett of the Shire, these are all sort of 4th or 5th generation. Colin Furze, if you want to see another English guy, a madcap inventor, unbelievable channel, you got to check that out. Colin Furze, F-U-R-Z-E. Crosby's Corner, Jeff, haven't seen him in a while. Curmudgeon. Cynical Duchess, she used to put out, she only put out like 4 or 5 videos, but she was interesting. She did some pipe videos. Dagner Performance, Dale Piper, Daniel Leslie, look, the late Daniel Shaw. He was one of the original guys. Derek Tant was similar time to me, I think, but he doesn't really do videos anymore. Dunholm Piper. Nowadays, every so often he'll do a video, but it'll be him doing some music with some kind of old English instrument, usually. D Social D, haven't seen him for a while. Eldritch Pipes, but again, he was later on. Eric, Blue Collar Pipe Smoker. Garbage Man Piper, he was later on anyway. Ghost Cob's been on for quite a long time. Glyn Quelch. Now, Glyn Quelch, he used to be the owner of GQ Tobaccos. And he was one of the original guys. He used to put out videos on a regular basis. He's out of it completely. Grandpa Bones, Smoking Grandpa Bones. He's been there a long time, but he doesn't do videos anymore. I think since the beginning of COVID, he hasn't really done anything. And on this guy, I was trying to remember this guy's name. Homestead Soap Company. Him, together with Drop Bear Woodworks, they helped me make my first pipe on a lathe. And some of you guys might have been there on that live. It was a series of 2 or 3 lives where I made my first pipe. I didn't have the foggiest idea how to use a lathe. And it was this guy, Homestead Soap Company, and Jason, his name? I can't remember. Glenn, sorry, what am I talking about? Glenn. Used to be called Pipe Nutter, now called Drop Bear Woodworks. Those two basically handheld me throughout the live to making my first pipe, and it's that foundation which still is the foundation of how I make a pipe today. Obviously, it's changed a lot, but that's the foundation. Jason very much is making pipes. Haven't seen Jordan the Prairie Pipe Smoker for a while. No, this is the lady that I said used to make videos. Kaja, I don't know, I think she was Greek. Some of these people I don't recognize. Koenikus Rax. He used to make some fantastic videos. English guy again. Did some really nice videos. I haven't seen him in years. He does comment on Facebook occasionally. Ladon Mott, the late Ladon, another one who's passed on. Here he is, legacy.uk. This guy here. He used to be known as Dunhill Man UK, and now it's legacy.uk, but he has made a video in New York's. Marco Narek, he was one of the later on generations, but still a very nice guy. He was I think he's a surgeon or a nurse or something like that, and I've been in touch with him a couple of times. He's bought stuff off me, but really nice fellow. I think he was in Romania possibly, or one of the Eastern Bloc countries. Matches. Metalhead Cigar Guy, he's been there a long time. Metalmorphist, there you go. Michel Baruch, I don't know where he disappeared to. He was on for a while. I mean, again, he's a later generation as well. Mike Blocker's there, occasionally makes a video. Also a later generation. Mother Do Pipes, on the Isle of Man, I think he is, if I'm not mistaken. He used to make pipes, and he actually taught me. I actually used to have phone calls with him. He used to help me out right in the beginning. I think he was like also a nurse actually, or ambulance driver or something like that. And he used to love making pipes. He used to chill him out after a stressful day, and so he helped me with the basics right at the beginning. But I don't know if he still makes pipes or not. Morgan Pipes, Chris Morgan. He's one of the original guys, or very early on anyway. But doesn't make videos very much either. Miss Skeeter, she used to be a regular video maker. Haven't seen her in a long time. Mutton Chop Piper, obviously. Nathaniel, do you remember him? What was his... He's actually got a different channel now, I think. I can't remember what he calls himself. Nom de Tube. What was his name? Was it Nick? He went over to Rumble or something like that. When YouTube started whisperings about taking off channels which had smoking stuff, he jumped ship straight away, and he was pushing very hard for another platform. I can't remember which platform it was. Andy, thank you, Chad. You got a better memory than I have. So nice guy. We used to did a few package exchanges with him. Northern Bohemian. Okay, he peed everybody off with his content, I think, even though it was ironic, but still, I think he'd had enough. Northern Pipe Shed, Chris, another guy from up north, Newcastle. That was more Liverpudlian, wasn't it? Anyway, so he used to make a video in his shed, a video or two, but no longer. Northwest Piper, Northwest Pipe Smoker. Wazzo Bryce is a much later channel. Old Khakis, I don't think he's still with us. I hope I'm wrong, but I've got a feeling that he passed. Anybody else know? He was an amazing guy. I mean, you can see he'd led a full life, but towards the end, that I knew him, he was repurposing a lot of stuff. He got a lot of timber from a sunken ship. Where's he still there? Thank God. Okay, I wasn't sure. But he gave out. I remember he made a tamper and pipe tool set out of a sunken ship, which he'd rescued some of the timber from, and he sent them out to a few people. I was fortunate enough to be one of those people. Old Berg Todd, he used to make regular pipes. He's now a salesman for OMS pipes. No, but Todd, lovely fellow. What was it Todd used to say? He had an interesting take on the English language, but he was such fun. He does a video every so often, maybe once or twice a year, where he does a giveaway. Look on it, yeah, look onto it. Yeah, thank you, Chad. You got a good memory, man. My memory is toast compared to yours. One Man Smoke, that's OMS Pipes. Fantastic channel. If you just want to see what the original YTPC was all about, check out his channel. Towards the end, he brings his son into it as well, but he hasn't made a video in a very long time. Padre Piper has been there for a long time. Paul Turnock, English guy, could suck on a pipe and inhale it fully. I could not understand how that man did that. He used to love whittling wood, and we exchanged a few packages as well. I sent him a Chris Morgan Bones pipe, an unsmoked Bones pipe. Within a few weeks, that pipe was black from smoking. Unbelievable. The guy smoked like a chimney and he inhaled it. OMS is salam, yeah. There he is, Phil Rivara. Josh, Pipe Grump. Pipe and tobacco, Yanis. There's Tree. You can keep Tree in your prayers if you're of that persuasion. He's undergoing some treatment at the moment, so keep him in your thoughts. He's okay. I mean, we have a Zoom twice a week, and he's doing fine. But he's going through quite a rigorous regime of treatment at the moment, so keep him in your thoughts. Preacher Man Piper, I hope he's well. Then if you guys have heard of this guy, Producer Michael, English fellow, lives in America. He's a producer, but he's a massive watch guy, into watches and cars and fashion. He's just the funniest guy. I love watching his channel. I can highly recommend his channel, just for the entertainment value. Lots of rabbis. Rawbills, he was one of the early ones as well. Rick Black, he was definitely one of the original guys. I haven't heard from him in yonks. I don't know if he still makes pipes or not. Sasquatch Piper, he was there early on. Scott Hudson pipes. I mean, he wasn't really YTPC, but haven't seen him on for a while. Good few years. Sergeant Savinelli. Smoking Pipeline, I love his videos. He does very funny reviews, tobacco reviews. Hasn't done one in a long time, but funny guy. Good production. His production reminds me a little bit of Professor Jeremiah. A little bit. Stogie Farts. He was one of the original guys. Stuff and Things, he's been there for a while. I don't consider him YTPC. He doesn't really get into YTPC at all, so, but he's definitely been there for a good while. Stutter, they've not been on for years now. I had a good run with them, good friendship with them for a while, Cynthia and Susan, but they haven't made a video in a long time. Sue Dunnell hasn't made a video in a long time. A very colourful character. Well, the colour being purple, but a colourful character on the YTPC, was a very, very good friend of Danny Shaw, and she hasn't really been on since. Occasionally she'll come on, but not regularly. Swing Kid 100, if you want to watch old traditional sort of English kind of say the 1920s, that kind of style videos with that kind of music. Again, hasn't done a video for a long time. He was like maybe 4th generation YTPC, something like that, but still very, very entertaining. Tennessee Bull was quite early on. Artful Codger, of course. But Artful Codger again he wasn't the original YTPC, he was later on. Eddie Pipe Nook. So he was on way before he started selling stuff. The Urban Gentry, that's an English guy, has a watch channel. He's also a lot of production value on his videos. The Dr. Joe Show, I think that was a cigar channel. Guy had a huge amount of cigars, Cuban cigars as well, but for health reasons he stopped cold turkey. He stopped smoking cigars. It's going back a good few years now. The Diabetic Man has got some lovely, lovely videos on his channel. Doesn't make videos anymore, hasn't done for years now, but just has some great videos, especially of the Chicago Pipe Show, where he interviews people like Mike, is it O'Neill, his name? Mike O'Neill or McNeil from McClelland, and also Per Hansen from McBaron. He's done a few tours around Italy, went to the Savinelli shop in Rome or one of the Italian towns. Some lovely videos on there, check him out. And he's got some other ones in the UK as well, I think. Here's the Polish piper. Toking Tommy, he's been there a long time. He organises the Nottingham Pipe Show. Uncle Phil Seller, Unicorn Piper, he's been there a while. He came in a little bit after me, I think. Maybe a year or two after me. Not sure. Hey, Welsh Piper. Yardism, there he is. And Yorkshire Posse, there you go, that's it. Interesting little retrospective. In the meantime, getting right through my cigar. Yeah, it's nice going down memory lane, I agree. What would be good to do is actually to do a playlist of some of the, for people to do of their favourite videos on the YTPC. And that would be entertaining for people, to put it on sort of continuous play and just run through some really enjoyable videos. Hey, Iron Worlds and Pipe Dreams. He's been on for a long time. Welcome aboard, how you doing? Bit of a collector, if I remember correctly. Do I remember correctly that, do you have model cars or something like that? I'm trying to remember. But plenty of package openings on his channel. I don't remember your name, forgive me. Just look at the little dots on the ash. That usually tells you that there's lots of oils in the cigar. Yed. Andy. Spacerman. Yeah, your videos, your introduction, I think, has flying saucers and stuff like that. Am I right? Thank you, Andy. My first pipe, yeah, sure, I remember what it was. It was a Butt Shaquan, and I bought that in Covent Gardens in Cigar and Snuff. Yeah, for Mike, his channel was, I can't remember his channel, but for a while, he tried, I remember he went through a period where first his father passed away, so that was a bit of a bumpy period for him, and then he had some health issues, as Chad says, and he tried for a while. He didn't smoke for a while, and then he decided to try and find tobaccos which had very low nicotine, and he was looking at sort of diluting tobaccos, soaking them and getting rid of a lot of the nicotine and stuff like that. But originally he sold all his pipes, he sold all his tobaccos, and then he kind of restocked on some pipes and tobaccos. I don't know if he smokes now at all or not. This is my first pipe. It was a smooth pipe, but at some point in time I rusticated it. Didn't do a great job of it, but this is when I started playing around with making pipes, and you can see it had a fill over there, and nice stem. That was my first pipe. I think after that was the Savinelli 626, which I had a matching tamper made. What was his channel name, Chad? I don't still smoke it, Daniel, no. Haven't smoked it in years. It's actually a 9mm pipe. I just didn't know it at the time. Yeah, 9mm. But to me, I didn't know the first thing about pipes, and I just bought the pipe they recommended. 50 quid I paid for it at the time. Don't think we came across him in my list there. But I liked his channel. He was a big fan of Boswell pipes and Boswell tobaccos initially. He had some really nice pipes. And I remember being upset at the time because when he sold off his pipes, he didn't want to sell abroad, so we couldn't get any. His channel was called, I think, Pipe Smoker something, or something Pipe Smoker, if I'm not mistaken. There was a guy called Old Pop, and he used to tell long stories and stuff like that, but he passed away. I think he had throat cancer. Excuse me just a second, guys. Hello. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm just on a live at the moment. What's up? Oh, did you go to the kiddish? No, I wasn't sure. I'm very happy that you did. You said to him that I can't walk. You what? Ah, okay, very nice. Go. Till what time can I call you back? Okay, fine. I'll see how it goes. Thanks. See you. Bye. Yeah, there is a channel called Old Hollywood Briar, but he's relatively recent to the YTPC. Yeah, he still does videos, Old Pops. No, I don't mean that Old Pops. There was another guy called Old Pops. I don't mean him. The guy with the long beard. Not him. Pipe Pops, that's the one, yeah. This guy. That's, I think this guy. Pipe Pops and Stony, but he was called, yeah, Old Pipe Pops. That's the channel name, Old Pipe Pops. And here you got somebody commenting 9 years ago. I'm sad to say I found this channel after he passed. All I have to say is an amazing guy. Rest in peace, Old Pipe Pops. Great channel. Watch it. It's nice when these contents are left up with people who pass. You can get a bit of a feel for how it was back in the day. YouTube recommended that channel to you. Cool. His son did videos as well, really? What's his channel called? I don't think Old Hollywood does videos anymore, but he's got an amazing TV voice. He can easily do voiceovers. Maybe he does. I think he's a photographer. I think he possibly overdoes it a bit to make an impact in his videos. You haven't got a Dunhill? He's still knocking him out, yeah? Maybe YouTube's playing games with me. Either that or I'm no longer subscribed. No, I'm not subscribed. I'm pretty sure I used to be. Oh, I'll have to check his channel out again. Smoking Briar. Yep. Well done, Chad. Absolutely. And why wasn't it on my list? Let's have a look. I'm just going to go down to the S's. Smoking Briar, he is there. His last video was 5 years ago. And he does a video before that saying my new pipe collection. There you go. He did a little bit of a series on making a pipe rack, if I remember correctly, and you see it in a lot of his videos, Very cool pipe rack. Well, my cigar is coming to an end. So I think it's as good a time as any to wish you all good night and to thank you for joining me. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Iron Wells and Pipe Dreams, Andy. Thank you, Chad, the man with the memory. I think we should call you Memory Man, Chad. Chillax, Daniel, Leslie, Phil Rivara, Patrick, Grant, Mad Piper Tom. I think if I say the names, I'll remember them. Andrew Sirigliano, Jeremy Viz, Sam Online, the Pipe Smoking Knife Maker, Luca Troy. Have I missed anyone? And everybody else? Thank you for the chat. Terry, on average, what do my pipes weigh? I try to keep my pipes 50 grams or lower. The ones that I make, they usually between 40 and 55 grams, but sometimes, depending on the pipe design, sometimes it can be over 100 grams. My Coronation pipe, which is still being made, is over 100 grams. Cheers, Lee. Dances with Aardvarks, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you on the next one.